We have heard that our factory has changed leadership from an all-union to a republic status. No one really knows what's going on. Starting Monday, after the holidays, after the weekend, you have a pile of telegrams on your desk saying that we have stopped providing our consumers at the moment till we get special orders. So why? So the chief of this factory is the Council of Ministers of the Ukraine, and we don't really know where these cars will be sent to. We must maintain our relationships with our former consumers. Well, I don't really know what's going on. Someone can give us an order just to stay local, and we'll be fine. Oh, we need the market of the USSR. It's huge. We have heard much about new forms of ownership. You remember the self-accounting, Model 1, Model 2 forms of government. Now we have privatization, which is entering our markets. The Liberetsky factory, carpet factory, has increased its output of these beautiful carpets. We have a very serious hindrance. We were convincing the Russian government for 3 months that they should pay attention to us. We talked to Salayev. We invited him to our production facilities. He finally understood that we are kept back by problems with pay salaries. If we get rid of these problems in pay and different technical factories, we can increase our output. The deputies will pass this measure. With the nationalization of the organs of Latvia, of the Foreign Trade Bank, they have announced that from November 10th, the bank has no responsibility for any business conducted in Riga. All former foreign accounts have been nullified. In Armenia, the parliament session has started a project which will now allow the citizens, which will give citizenship to all those born in Armenia at the moment, or living in Armenia at the moment of the passing of the law. This contradicts the Belarusian law on citizenship. To become a citizen of Belarusian, you must merely live in the Republic for 7 years and be a law-abiding citizen and have a legal means of survival, legal job. The military political life has been looked over at the Supreme Soviet of the Northern Ossetian area. Northern Ossetia deputies of the Autonomous Republic have asked that the Russian Republic review the entrance of Ossetia into the Russian Republic. Turning to world society, signed by scientists from all over the world, they say that the world belongs to those people who live on it, and each people shall decide their own fate. Southern Ossetia showed the escalation of aggression. A group of internal troops have discovered some cruelly destroyed, killed doctors in southern Ossetia and Zimbabwe. Perhaps this terrorism will stop, this bloodbath will stop. Today, the Chechenian armed forces has been ceased, has been terminated by a decree from Boris Yeltsin. It has not been followed. So the Chechenian National Army has not disbanded. Nagorno-Karabakh, where there's a group of observers from Russia working in the situation is not stable. There are hostage taking, shots fired, blockades. One of the Azerbaijani cells, there was an armed conflict, and a native was killed. In Tbilisi today, there were two meetings, one political rallies, one next to the Parliament House and one next to the theater. The president of Georgia, Ganzahuri, stood forth to go for unity, which will overcome all the paths, all the problems. He criticized his opponents and the movements which opposed us. Movement which is formed by Shevardnadze, democratic movement, which he says will lead to the splitting of the nation. The opposition meeting demanded that the president leave his post and that the political prisoners be released. The former Prime Minister of the Republic, Sigua, spoke at the opposition rally. Today, President of Russia, Yeltsin, in Moscow, met the President of Bulgaria, Zhelizhela. They talked eye to eye, and afterwards, they had a more general discussion. In Washington, Havlik, the president of Czechoslovakia, arrived. They had a two-sided agreement on investments. They discussed economic issues and political reforms in Czechoslovakia, and the situation in the USSR were discussed among other problems. After a few hours, the ceasefire lasted for a few hours in Croatia, despite all the efforts of the Yugoslav authorities and the world authorities. So once again, the ceasefire has been broken. Military actions between the Croatian factions and subdivisions of the Yugoslav army have renewed in the cities of Novska and Novogradiška. Western Slovenia and the Danube part of Croatia have seen hostilities. Iraq has admitted that it has conducted research for making atomic weapons, nuclear weapons. These days, for some reason, the French have decided to fight for their rights. I hope their activities will not interfere with other activities going on in Paris, that are going on in Paris. This is one of the parts of French life which Pankin, the Soviet foreign minister, is encountering. What do you expect from your talks in France, Mr. Pankin? I'm optimistic. I was optimistic when I left the Middle East, and I'm optimistic now. I have several goals here, as you know. Sort of a sandwich, several layers of goals. First of all, the Capuchin conference, then a bilateral conference with the French leadership. Tomorrow, a meeting with James Baker to discuss the Middle East conference. The first after Jerusalem, and perhaps the last before Madrid. So there are many issues to be solved. But Paris is always Paris, and therefore the feeling which I have right now is always exhilarating and helps me solve all my problems. Immediately after his arrival, Pankin met with the chairman of the PLO, Yasser Arafat. In the discussions, they talked about the November 30th the Madrid conference. The process of regulation has started, but no one knows what kind of underwater rocks it might run into, what kind of problems it might run into. Jesse Turner has been released, who was held as a hostage in January of 1987. He was held by a pro-Iranian group for the liberation of Palestine. Today, the hijacker who attempted to hijack a Czechoslovak plane, he was a 17-year-old citizen of Czechoslovakia. His weapons and the bomb which he threatened to blow up the plane were not found. Streets of Italy, sometimes you have major traffic jams. Sometimes public transportation stopped work.